Alright guys, update on the black Calvuses and the fry. Back on June 18th I bred this wild-caught male that you see down here with what I thought at the time was 3 females, which turned out to be 2 females and another male. Everything went pretty good. July 3rd, I posted a video of the wild-caught female, and I had just walked in the room and she was acting kind of strange. She was darting in and out of the shell and just really spastic, and so I ran and got the camera, came back, and the fry were coming out. So kind of interesting. I don't know if that's a telltale sign of when the fry are ready to come out, because it was more or less like she could have been acting that way because she couldn't control them anymore. Who knows? 2 days later, the other female released her fry, and things went pretty good for a while. This shell right here, I have another female in here. This is a domestic female. She's about 3 1/4 inches. The wild-caught female right now, she's hiding out in that one. And then the smaller of the 2 female is actually down here behind this rock down in here. I just sat down in front of the tank, spooked them, so give them a couple minutes, they'll be coming back out. Okay, so anyway, oh, you could see, you saw one to the right of the rock there. Everything went pretty good with the fry. Well, let me back that up. July 3rd, when I took the fry out of the tank, what I did was I took 9 gallons of water out of this tank, put it in 10-gallon with a filter that I had set up, and dumped the fry into that 10-gallon tank, and noticed that, you know, there was probably close to 250, who knows, maybe more. I mean, it was just amazing how many fry that I actually saw. And something that struck me strange was most of them were white. You know, there was only about maybe 30, 40, 50 or so that actually had some brown and gold color to them. But within an hour, they all died. I was left with about maybe 70 to 90 fry after 1 hour. And I thought that was kind of strange because, you know, they came right out into the water that they were bred, or, you know, that they were born in, and yet they died. So what I did was I had 2 batch of fries. I had them each in a 10-gallon tank, separate from each other, but right next to each other. And the smaller female only had about 30 to 40 fry. You know, I mean, she was only like 1.5 inches when she spawned, which I think was kind of early. But anyway, things went great for 15 days, and I was really spooked about doing a water change. My water sucks. It's just bad. So I did a water change finally after 15 days, because it started to get pretty bad in the tank and I had to do something. But the fry were doing good. I didn't lose any fry for almost 2 weeks. It was just that within the first hour that I lost, bam, I don't know, Christ, 60% of them. So did a 1-gallon water change, and everything was okay. Got up the next day, and I don't know, I was down to like 20, 25 fry, and maybe 10 or 15 in the other tank. It was heartbreaking. I was really surprised. So then a couple of days ago, I was out in the garage and I was like, damn, it's really hot out here. It's, you know, in Florida it gets pretty hot sometimes, but it's really, really been hot lately. And it was 101 degrees in my garage with the garage door open. So I went over to the tank, stuck my finger in there, and it was really, really warm. And then I actually got down and looked inside the tank, and pretty much all the fry were dead. So as of right now, like an hour ago I looked, I have 2 fry. That's it. One tank I've already broken it down and cleaned it and put it back under the, you know, underneath the rack out there. You know, it's waiting for next time. So this is where we're at. You know, starting all over again. The females have been in this tank for about 5 days now. I got the pH around 86 again. Everything looks pretty good. No plants this time around. The male has been in here for about 4 hours now. Everybody came out. You know, they socialized a little bit. This female right here, she actually tried to entice him, I guess, and she's been pitch black ever since. But the other 2 females are a light gray color, and he really doesn't look like he's ready to do anything. He's got no color. You know, I acclimated him to the water and everything. He didn't stress out or anything like that when I put him in there. He's pretty mellow. They've eaten. The male that I pulled out of here a while ago that I thought was a female, I stuck in the 120 tank with this female right here that I picked up while this breeding session was going on back at the end of June. So I threw him in there to say, hey, you know, what could happen? And they took right to it. They went over to the shell, kind of looked like they were going to do their thing. So I let them go. Next day I go out there and I look, and I'm like, oh, that male looks like his lip is ripped off his face. And he had a big chunk of skin hanging off his lip where I guess they were locking jaws. It turned into a fight, and he was able to eat, you know. He just had this big wound, and they seemed to get along while I was feeding them, and she'd go back to the shell, and I'm like, well, maybe they spawned, who knows. And later that day I go back out and check up on everybody, and they're fighting again, and he got his ass kicked, and he's no longer with us. So I'm down to 2 males, and 3 females. Really wish I had some more females, but I don't know, maybe in a day or 2 things will pick up in here. But I do know the first attempt, I mean, they just went right to town. And there's the wild-caught female. She finally stuck her head out, or stuck her ass out a little bit. She might pop out all the way. But who knows, man? Attempt number 2 might be better. What I've done differently this time, left the plants out, and on the tip of both of these shells I drilled a small little hole, and what I'm going to do is try another experiment. Once I know they bred, or I think they've bred, because I'm probably not going to see it, I'm going to run some fishing line to the back of the tank and off the front of the tank here, and slip it through the hole and run it through a knot and whatnot, and just dangle the string outside the tank here. And when I get close to like day 10 to day 15, somewhere around in there, because last time it did take 15, no, it actually took 18 days for the first batch of fry to come out of the shell before you saw them. So somewhere around there, I'm going to try to be sneaky and feed them. And normally when you feed them, they will wander from the shell a little way. So, you know, who knows? Maybe sprinkle some food over here, get them to come out. Might take 2 people to do it, get somebody to help me with it. But I'm going to pull the shell up out and put it in a bucket of water. Try to get both of them out at the same time. And then once I get the shells out, then I'll go back with a net and grab the females and acclimate them and put them out in the garage in another tank. And then I'll put the shells back in here, and I'm going to turn that pump off. And then I've got 2 sponge filters that I'm going to throw in here. What I've done is I've got a 10-gallon aquarium out in the garage right now that's running, and over the last 3 days I've taken water from this tank and filled it up into 10 gallons. So I don't know, cycle this sponge filter as best I can. But yeah, but this tank has been up and running for like I don't know, close to probably 3 weeks exactly, and everything's okay. pH is good and whatnot, but we'll see what happens. Oh, sorry, it's late. I'm getting tired, but I just wanted to try to do a quick video, and kind of sucks they're not really active. Normally the Calvus are the shyest of all. The other thing I noticed, man, these fish are nothing like the ink fins that I have. I now have 8 ink fins out in that 60-gallon aquarium in the garage, and they're not shy. They stay right out, and they'll sit there and look at you and do whatever. You know, these guys, a lot of times they see you and they run and hide, or they just sit there like that and they do nothing. So hopefully in another month or 2 the inks will be big enough. They're at 2 inches right now. Next couple of days or so I'm going to go out there and try to sex or vent them and see if I can't figure out who's who, and start separating them and see if we can't get something going. I'm not going to sit here and wait for fish to pair off. That's, you know, life's too short for that to happen. So I will try to do like one male, 3 females, or, you know, if I'm lucky, 1 male and 4 or 5 females the first time around, and just see what happens. And you know, if who knows? You know, normally all the females aren't going to spawn with just the 1 male. So, you know, you're gonna, if I throw 4 or 5 females in with 1 male, a couple of them don't like them, I can pull them and put them in with another male, and probably, you know, do okay there. And that's what I'm really looking forward to next, is seeing how the breeding goes with those. I don't know, I got a feeling it's going to be a lot better than what's going on with these guys. They seem to be difficult. Another thing I've noticed is another fish I wanted to get was the compressus, the gold head. I've had yellows, I've had zebras, I've had whites, and I've never had gold heads. And a lot of people that I've been talking to about the gold heads, they're pretty decent parents, you know, until the fry get to a certain size, and you can pretty much just leave the fry in the tank. So, I mean, I think that's going to be a lot easier than what's going on with these black Calvuses, but that's for another day. Thanks for staying awake and watching. You got any questions, comments, or maybe some helpful hints, just let me know. You can send me a private message or write a comment below. Thanks again. Take care.